It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but victims aren't always who you think. According to the CDC, nearly 33% of women in the U.S. are physically abused by an intimate partner in their lifetimes.
That means among these survivors are older women. They're not always thought of as targets, though, but older women are just as much at risk as younger ones. And joining us today is Bethany Backus, a UCF assistant professor in the Department of Criminal Justice and the School of Social Work. Thank you for coming in today to talk about this. We try to raise awareness. We partner with Harbor House quite often to talk about domestic violence and what's happening. We know the cases are up right now. Yes. But when it comes to the face, there are so many faces of domestic violence.
Absolutely, and I think we tend to forget, especially about our older population, right? We think that they're okay, or we don't necessarily think they're being abused or hurt by their intimate partner. We think about more of their abuse coming from a caregiver or from an adult child, and still these folks also experience abuse and may have less access to resources to get help.
And you looked specifically at the population of women ages 50 and older, so talk about what you found with this.
So some of the things we found there is that they're actually experiencing high levels of both physical, sexual, and psychological abuse, and some of that is being facilitated through technology, which was very interesting because this population does have lower access or lower literacy related technology, so they don't necessarily know how to navigate those things.
Were you surprised by anything you found?
We were surprised. We were surprised at how much just in the past year they experienced it. And we did study a little before COVID and during parts of COVID, so we did see this higher rates. We're also surprised at the numbers of homicides we're also seeing in this population.
And what are some of the challenges when it comes to this part of the population, when it comes to either their health conditions or maybe other needs that they may have, maybe disabilities?
Yeah, so a lot of this population doesn't necessarily want to leave their home. So going to a shelter or moving to somewhere else isn't always something that they want to do. So it's really important that we meet them where they're at, try to understand their needs, do some safety planning with them to better understand what they might need at a given point in time and how to access certain resources.
And why do you think this particular group, more so than others, chooses to remain silent on this issue?
Part of it is isolation and potentially mobility challenges as well. And also what we found when we asked about why you didn't seek help was they didn't understand that there were services that would support them. They also were very embarrassed and ashamed to seek services about it.
And so let's talk about some of those. Can we go down the list of some of the resources that are available for people depending on their needs?
Absolutely. And I think what's important to know is that whether you call Harbor House or another type of domestic violence service agency, they really do individualized services for someone. So they'll really work with them to figure out what they need at that point in time and to provide a plan for them to provide that care and assistance.
And we have those numbers there on the screen. Harbor House's confidential hotline is 24 hours, 407-886-2856, as well as the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. We also have a number for sexual assault and abuse victims. It's also 24 hours. That's 1-800-656-HOPE. So hopefully it just takes the courage to reach out. That's the first step.
Yeah.
And what do people need to be looking for in your friends and family members, for signs of abuse and to know if you need to reach out and ask someone, hey, do you need help?
So I think it's important to make sure if you see different changes in behavior, more social isolation of that person not attending family functions or not being kind of as engaged. And then it's important to kind of provide some private time and space to talk to that person, taking them outside of that place where they might be experiencing abuse to have this conversation with them so they feel safe and building up that trust and rapport with them so they can start to confide in you.
And that's difficult with the pandemic. A lot of people are more isolated as it is. So how do you know if this is something that's pandemic related or maybe if there is a problem?
So I think it's just reaching out in different ways, right? Whether it be on the phone or through FaceTime, if you can, once you can start kind of visiting them. At the same time, now that people are going back to the doctor's offices, not necessarily doing virtual visits as much, I think it's also important for those types of places, doctor's offices, even churches and other places where people will go, to start asking and to start to look for some of those signs of potential abuse and isolation.
All right, and we just want to touch on too, we keep saying it's more than a black eye. talk about all the different types of abuse people may not even be aware of.
Right. Physical abuse is just one of many types. So a lot of what we see is financial abuse, that's financial control. And so within this population too, a lot of times they have a lot of debt, or they don't have access to financial resources to get help or to move or to do something. We also see psychological and kind of mental health threats. So that could be, calling someone names consistently, putting them down, just making them very fearful of things. And we also see stalking as well, stalking and monitoring. So knowing where you're going to be, knowing who's coming to see you, monitoring that, making sure that you're not doing anything that they don't want you to do. And so that creates a lot of fear and can shame. And if someone's been in this relationship for decades, they just don't know necessarily where to go to get help.
And again, if you need to get help or you know someone who does, we have that number, Harbor House's 24-hour confidential hotline for you, as well as another hotline up there. I'm trying to see it on the graphic. We have all of that information for you on clickorlando.com as well. There we go. So the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-SAFE. You can call those 24 hours a day, anytime that you feel like you need to reach out.
Professor Backus, thank you for coming in for this very important discussion, and we hope to keep the conversation and communication open.
Thank you so much.